there. Can you tell me how I might be of help to you today?
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I have some family issues I'd like to discuss and see maybe how I can maybe rekindle a relationship with my son, my youngest boy. It's been 2 years since we spoke. We had a fight over money. I've helped him in the past financially, paid off his car, did different things, but those were always a gift. A few years back, he was working construction, decided that he really wanted to drive those big rigs. So he looked into it. He said, "Mom, can you loan me $3,300?" And I said, "Yes. I just want you to be very clear on this. It's going to be a loan. So I don't expect you to pay me back in full all at once. But if you paid me a little bit every month, we could certainly work that out." So time goes by. I don't ask him about the money every single time I talk to him. But, you know, he's doing different things. He's going on vacation to Mexico over Christmas, which costs a fortune. He buys himself a bike. He does this for his Jeep, that for this. He goes out for dinner every Friday. Like, he's making choices. Choices don't include me in there.
Yeah.
He's choosing to having instant gratification as opposed to coming to the table and actually paying me back. I mean, if I loan you money, I expect you to pay me back, especially if I clearly stated I wanted it back. It's not like I need it, it's just that, you know, you can't just fork out money just because. So, in time, you know, I kept asking and he kept deflecting it, and, "Oh, Mom, I can't, you know, the transmission, Jeep went, blah, blah, blah." There was always an excuse. So I got mad, really. Honestly, I was mad at him, angry. So I sent him a demand letter for the full amount, plus interest. And I'm assuming he wasn't expecting that, because he called me right away and started yelling at me and curse. And his parting word is like, "Hey, that's me." So I haven't spoken to him in 2 years. Now, the principle of repaying has always been on the table. But as time goes by, it means less and less. I'm missing out on all kinds of events in his life. He just purchased himself a new house. He got engaged. He's getting married in August. At this rate, I'm not going to any of it. And I miss him. I want to be part of his life. I've always wanted to be part of his life. And I sort of cornered myself. So now he's not talking to me. And I want to find a way to apologize, be genuine from the heart, and just forgetting about money. I'm just wondering if I can let go of the principle in the first place. That's my first hang-up. And my second hang-up is that I think respect is earned. And I am his mom, and I've earned that respect. But I also need to respect him and his choices. So I sort of want to write him something, you know, apologizing, not a lengthy letter, but or a card or something. But I'm thinking of you, and then, you know, putting some fluff words in there, which I can't think of at the moment. And probably I would have to look online to see what it looks like in terms of structure. Maybe just pick a couple of words here and there and just sort of put it my way in there. So I don't know. My biggest fear is that he returns the letter unopened. He doesn't call me back ever, and I lose track of him. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do any of it. Not over money.
So from what I gather of what you've told me, it sounds as though your main concern in the beginning was originally just, you know, to show that you've taught him better than that, and that he, you know, eventually needs to repay back all that money that you lent to him. But now, I mean, how are you feeling that originally that was your main concern?
Yeah, because I think I was more focused on the principle than the feelings. I never tried to see it from his point of view, but for sure he never tried to see it from my point of view. And I just don't want to hide behind principle. It's long term, it's not worth it for me.
Well, I mean, I do want to commend you on, trying to contemplate that first step in your head of how can I make this better, and so I mean that shows your strength. So I mean that's a good thing. So I just want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you believe you can, sort this through and make it better together?
4.
A 4, yeah. And why do you think it'd be a 4 rather than say like an 8 or a 9?
Because I'm afraid of his rejection. Really, that would devastate me, would break my heart.
Yeah.
I mean, I've already missed 2 years.
Right, yeah.
So it's 2 years I will never get back.
Yeah.
So moving forward, I don't want to miss even further, and we end up in 10 years or 15 years without talking to each other.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be that way.
Okay. And so say this was 10 to 15 years into the future, and you never sent any kind of apology letter or anything like that. Do you see each other working it out, or do you feel that this is really the only way that you're ever going to build your relationship again, is if you send kind of like an apology letter to him?
Yeah, that's the only way. I think I'm pretty stubborn. He's also very stubborn. So nobody's going to make the first move. One of us has to.
Yeah.
In order for either to sever the ties, which I hope it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
or to move forward in a positive way.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the lead on it. I will do it. At great risk to me, really, in the end, because, I'm the one who's going to miss out if he chooses not to partake.
Okay. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds as though your main concern of what's holding you back from making that first move to build your relationship again is the fear of rejection, that he won't want to bother with you at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Abandonment, those are issues, my own issues already to start with.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time with abandonment and rejection, so I could just see that would just feed, feed an angry place for me, which I don't want to have that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And so in the past, since you said you've dealt with rejection and abandonment in the past, what skills have you used, seeing as though you obviously made it through those times, what skills have worked for you in the past before when you've dealt with that?
That is where I should probably not go back to. I usually, if it hurts too much, I just close the door and never open it again. I just walk away. I don't deal with it, I just leave it. And exactly what I did again with him.
Okay.
So it's not really a coping skill, it's nothing really, it's just misplaced anger. It just doesn't go anywhere, it's a lumpy carpet.
Yeah. And so do you feel that's somewhat of your defense mechanism that you've just always kind of used as a pattern in the past?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. I can remember using it when I was 5, and I'm 54 now, so it's a long time to have the same pattern, and if that pattern doesn't work, but not really knowing how to diffuse it before it gets there.
Yeah. And so how do you feel about this mechanism that you've been using for so long now? Do you see it as kind of an issue, or?
Oh, it is, definitely it is.
So
it stops me from having really great relationship if I could just,
Do you feel as though it's kind of holding you back from growing in certain relationships?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And in doing that, I'm teaching him that you can do that to people.
Yeah.
So he's learning that.
Right.
So he will teach that to somebody else, and it just perpetuates.
Is that one of your fears, that will kind of rub off onto him as well?
I think if you can spend 2 years not talking to me, and me likewise, I think that 2 years can turn into 5, 5 into 10, 10 into 15, and just lose track and not be part of each other's lives, and I don't want that.
Right, yeah. And so what do you think, in your opinion, looking 5 to 10 years down the road from now, if you were to be in the perfect scenario, what would that look like with your son?
engaged relationship, not always agreeing, but not going to extreme either.
Yeah.
You know, I pick my battles.
Okay.
What's important, what's not important. If it's fluff, it's just that.
Yeah.
Fluff.
Okay. So you're looking at more of the realistic side to it, that you're not always going to be, you know, perfect together, no conflict whatsoever, but you're willing to work through that together. It sounds like. Yeah. Okay.
I'd like him to be engaged in those
Mhm.
solutions as well.
Yeah.
For, you know, coping and skills, and use his words as opposed to just close the door and walking away.
Right. Yeah. And so, what do you think would be a reasonable and accessible first step towards that for yourself?
If you were to open the letter, read it, you probably will think about it for some time.
Mhm.
I don't expect a phone call that day,
Right. Yeah.
or even
Takes
that
time.
month.
Yeah.
But maybe in time he will pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you? And just sort of pick it up from today,
Mhm.
in the moment, right now. Let's forget about the stuff from before. Let it go.
Okay.
For me to let it go, for him to let it go.
Okay.
And then build from that phone call forward as
Okay.
positive.
Okay. And so for this letter that it sounds like you're planning on writing to him, do you have any ideas of what you would say in it, or have you contemplated anything about that at all?
Sort of, because I'm not really good with words,
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe I could get some inspiration from the internet, like an apology letter, but I think I would keep it brief.
Yeah.
To the point, brief, and
Yeah.
warm.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, hopefully he will respond.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't respond, then I need to think of a plan B.
Okay.
But, you know, I will get there when when I cross the bridge.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great first start, a great step to start with. You said that you feel that you would need to go online to kind of get some ideas or guidelines of, you know, how to initially start that letter to him. Do you feel that it's difficult for you to find the words to say? Is it difficult for you to express yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Especially when it comes about emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a little bit more pragmatic. I'm more emotional, so I need to find a balance between the two of them.
Right. Yeah.
Because if I come from a really mushy place,
Right.
it won't have the effect that I'm looking for.
Right. Yeah. Right. So, from what it sounds like to me, you two both kind of have very similar qualities.
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel that's why there is this conflict right now? Just because you are both so similar?
Could be.
Yeah.
Could very well be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I think maybe he feels maybe he was overwhelmed that day.
Right.
I don't quite know what happened that
Yeah.
day, except that we came to blows and that was it. Maybe he had a really bad day. Maybe he had a terrible week before,
Right,
and
yeah.
just this was overwhelming enough. So decided to make that quick move and
Yeah.
dealt with it that way.
Okay. And do you feel as though, in your opinion, considering he is your son and all, knowing him, do you feel as though he would be willing to make that effort as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
I think so. I'm confident to think that he misses me just as much as I miss him.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
Warm and fuzzy inside because I
Yeah.
really miss him.
Okay. So you're hoping that feeling is reciprocated
Yeah.
as well? Okay.
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope we haven't waited too long.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Is that one of your fears as well?
Yeah.
Is that too much time has passed by?
Yes.
Yeah.
Long time, 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's understandable. Yeah. Okay. So this letter that you're planning on sending to him, is that kind of one of your first steps that you think would be good before our next session? Is kind of looking online, getting some ideas of
Yeah.
how you'd be able to start the letter. Maybe not necessarily send it before our next session, but get some ideas at least, and then
Right.
we can come back and discuss it and see how it goes from there.
Yep, sounds pretty good.
Okay, great. We'll see you next week.
Okay, thank you.